Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. This episode is brought to you by The Wellness Paradigm, a holistic health coaching company shifting the way that women understand and heal their bodies. Through bioenergetic testing, functional lab testing, and functional nutrition, we uncover what traditional approaches often overlook so you can stop guessing, start healing, and finally feel like yourself again. No more one size fits all protocols, just real answers, deep rooted healing, and the clarity and confidence you deserve to feel incredible. It's time to shift the paradigm of women's health. Now, on to our show. And good morning, Shay.
Good morning.
So good to have you here. Shay is such a beautiful light, and I'm really honored that you are taking the time this morning to chat with me and share with our audience your wisdom. And Shay is an inner authority mentor who helps high achieving women who have really lost themselves in the grind of life and career and their business, and they're ready for a change, but they maybe don't really know how or why. And she blends intuitive guidance and energy work as well as photography. She's an incredible boudoir photographer to kind of see themselves in better ways. So, Shay, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. And I'd love to know a little bit more on how you stepped into this work and really found some of your unique gifts and blended them together.
So it's quite interesting. It's like one thing led into another thing that led into another thing.
Always.
So I remember my husband was in the military. We had moved. I wasn't working. I booked like a beautiful photo shoot for my family. I'm like, oh, this will be beautiful. Like, just had a kid after we got here. Had the photo shoot. Wasn't the greatest experience. Like, the photo shoot itself was cool. Follow up was not. Tracking down the photographer, and I finally tracked her down after a month and whatnot, and got the photos. I was like, sweet, we're gonna look at the photos. And they were awful. And I was like, you know what? I can take better pictures than this, and I can give better service than this. And I started my business the next month. I filed all the paperwork and with the state, and I was like, let's go.
Love that for you.
So I started shooting a little bit of everything, families, newborns, did a wedding, had someone reach out that was like, oh, have you shot boudoir? I was like, no, but I'm down. Would you like to be the first?
Nice.
So I had an amazing time, and I was like, oh, I really enjoy this. And the women are seeing themselves like different. And I was like, interesting. And I got into that and really focused in on boudoir. And then my business was doing really, really well. And I had people asking me, well, what are you doing? And I started mentoring.
Mm-hmm.
So with business strategy and whatnot. And through that, the business mentoring and photography, I was like I loved it, but I was starting to get burnt out by doing too much. And I was like, I can't go on like this. I am spreading myself way too thin. And so I ended up finding a spiritual mentor. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know. I just jived with her. I was like, I don't know what I need. I need a change. I'm here for this. She
Yeah.
seemed like the perfect person because I had just gone to a retreat and she led me through this whole process. I was like, oh, perfect. You're it. Because to find someone that you trust and you can open up to and go to the depths of your soul with, like, if you wanna feel safe, you wanna be able to feel like you can trust them. And through healing different traumas in my life, my intuitive gifts started to open up. I was like, oh, what is this? I started to see auras.
Interesting. Mhm.
Yeah, it was a whole process. And then she had to have back surgery. And I remember hearing, oh, your training wheels are coming off. And I was like, what was that? I've never heard an external voice. Like,
Love
that
it.
was not a person next to me. And so
Oh,
I started to get a lot of visions and all my clairs started to open up. And so I was like, and then the very logical, analytical person that I was, because I've got a background in finance and I got my MBA. I'm like, and I was getting the nudges. It was like, okay, now you have to tell people that you're intuitive. And I was like, are you crazy?
yeah, that's probably an
You can
interesting.
you can see visions and you can tap into their energy. You can sense their auras. And I was like, this sounds crazy. I was like, with my background, like, I don't know about this. So as I was working through that, I was like, also realized I could do energy work on people. I was like, oh, and I just was led one step and at a time to do all these different things. And now I'm here and now I've combined all of my work. Like, obviously, I can do energy work by itself or intuitive guidance or photography, but like, I do combine all the different things that I can do. And it's really about helping women see themselves better and to see how powerful that they actually are, how worthy that they are innately are, and them navigating through life with that knowing and that confidence. Because
You
I
know,
had to go through it myself.
oh, we all. I think it's so interesting. You also mentioned like the being feeling safe with somebody to really open up because I find
Mm,
with so many clients or people, it's they one don't understand at all what trusting their body feels like. That's just a
mm,
very foreign concept. Or if you said it, they'd think this is kind of woo, you know what I mean? Which is funny because it's not. But they've never been maybe even heard those words before. You know, that's never even crossed their
yeah.
mind. But to find somebody that also you feel safe with. Like I know Shay, that's like some one of your, I call them your little superpowers, is people immediately feel safe to open up to you, whether you love that or not. Because I'm sure some people just like, woo, I get the same thing where it's like, I feel safe. Here's my entire life story. But you know, that's a huge gift, which is why I'm sure you can get even deeper with clients' journeys because they feel safe with that. But can you talk me through a little bit? If somebody is coming in to your world. They don't
Mhm.
even understand what not trusting themselves feels like. Like, how does that show up for them?
In life, like second guessing, doubting, getting stuck in your head and not taking the action. Or maybe you do take the action, but how long did it actually take you to get there to take the action?
Yes.
It's like a constant like internal battle.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
like that's why I'm like, oh, I've been there. And that's why people feel safe because I'm like, there's no judgment. I'm not going to judge you. We're just here trying to collect information
Mm-hmm.
so that we can, move forward in a better way.
So, if a client was wanting to, you know, get more in tune with themselves, start trusting themselves a little bit more, like what would be some of the first steps you would take them through? Like, what would that look like?
A lot of the time, it is sitting with yourself, and a lot of people don't want to sit with themselves. They
Nope.
feel very uncomfortable. They avoid it.
Yep.
Oh, I don't. Oh, I'll take this 5 minutes for myself, and then they're like, oh wait, I need to do laundry.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It's like
Oh, I'm
what?
starting to itch all over my body. Like it's like the distractions start to pop up. Things that all of a sudden need to take care of, need to get done in that very moment.
Yep.
But it's just like get quiet, get still,
Mm-hmm.
and listen to yourself. Just sit with yourself. Maybe touch on yourself, just to be present with you. And I feel like that's a beautiful start.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people like to journal. That can be a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful start too. But sometimes it's like, well, where do I even start?
Yep. It's like the overwhelm of not doing it right.
Yeah,
Right.
and yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like, maybe just sitting with yourself and just feeling is nice. Like you're being present with your body, and it's kind of giving you a little bit of something to do, but even though you're just like sitting with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving your hands something to do. You just
Mm-hmm.
touch it, caress, like hug yourself, and just feel what you feel in that moment and just be present with that. And you can do that with the journaling. And maybe it's like, what am I actually feeling in this moment? Or, it can even be something like happy, like what actually makes me happy? And am I doing that? And some people haven't sat with themselves even long enough to even know what makes them happy. And so I know that can be overwhelming. So,
I was having a conversation recently with somebody about this in different words, but when you talk about being happy or like what brings you joy, right? What sort of advice would you give somebody when maybe people feel trapped in their current situations and they don't know how to get out of it? Maybe it's career, their work, kids, whatever it might look like. And it's more they're just in survival mode every day and they just feel like there's
mm,
nothing that they can do to shift that even though we know, but how do you change that paradigm for them?
mm. I feel like what I want to say is gratitude. And I know people are like, oh, gratitude. I'm tired of that. I don't want to hear that. But it's the way in which you're looking at your circumstances
Yeah.
that is making your current circumstance seem that much worse.
Hmm.
So it's like, oh, okay, maybe everything's crazy, and what am I grateful for in this moment? This hot coffee that when I drink it, I feel like it touches my soul. And
Hmm.
if you can just be grateful for that and like feel into it, not just let me just make a gratitude list and like let me check off the list. I don't want anybody to do that. Like, please just feel into it. And that's coming back to the present moment. Like that coffee, oh, sitting with it, like bringing it up and feeling the warmth before you even like sip it and just sipping it. And you feel the warmth in your mouth and you just feel it going down into you. It's like, okay, that is an experience. So can you take these little moments that you're like maybe rushing through, and it doesn't
Hmm.
have to take long. Like it can still take the 30 seconds, but actually
Hmm.
be present with it and enjoy the experience. And that can just be something you can end up making that a ritual in the midst of your crazy day. And you might find yourself after a while that's a ritual, and then you start to unintentionally make little rituals of these little moments with these different experiences that you're having, because it's not all bad. It just seems chaotic sometimes.
Hmm. Totally. Gratitude is so, I mean, it is neuroscience backed on how it can literally rewire your brain. But people are like, well, I've tried that. Like, tried that.
I
Like,
feel like a lot of the time it's the checking of the boxes that they've tried and not actually
100%.
like sitting in the presence of, oh, I really do love this thing and I'm
Mhm.
so grateful for it. And it can seem like, oh, well, that's stupid. It's just coffee. But no, it's how it makes you feel. It doesn't matter if it's something small or something big.
So true. As somebody who used to add things to my to-do list that I already did just so I could check it off.
Same.
Totally. Um, but but I think it's uncomfortable for people sometimes. They're like, okay, I'm grateful for my life. Bye. Next.
Yeah,
Um, those little moments matter more than people realize. And I love well, I don't have time. Ma'am, you don't have 30 seconds in your day. You're telling me you don't have 2 minutes in your day to
yeah,
slow down. I get that I don't have time. How can we find the time? Because if not, your body's going to find the time for you and not in a great
exactly.
way.
It's not that we don't have the time, it's not that it's not a priority.
100%. Yeah.
And even with like the coffee, it's like it's not what you're doing, it's who you're being and what you're allowing yourself to feel in those moments
Hmm.
while you're doing these different things.
Human being, not human doing.
Exactly.
Oh, said that one to a client. It's like mind blown. They were like, I remember when I first heard that for the first time. Honestly, I was like, wait a minute. Whoa. It's like breakfast. You're breaking the fast. What? Huh?
Hmm.
Okay. That's where that word comes from. And so if people are, let's say, they're they're becoming a little more in tune with themselves. Let's say they're taking the time to do some gratitude or some journaling, whatever that looks like to them.
Yeah.
Well, if somebody is, I'm sure you work, no, I know you work with a lot of high achieving women, right? They want to skip
Hmm.
some of that, you bring them back, right? Let's start with this. How are you helping them really get to the next level in their business or their life? I mean, a lot of people that listen are entrepreneurs or, business women, but like, how are you really helping them step into that next level, whatever that means?
For me, it's bringing them back to themselves because we've been conditioned
Mhm.
for looking for the authority,
Yep.
the external authority. The boss, the mentor, they know more than me. Like, and
Hmm.
I really, like with my mentoring, I really bring it back to absolutely. Can I help you with these different things? Great. And there's a million different ways to get to your goal. But what's your way?
Hmm.
And finding your way and not saying that my way is better. It's you I don't know you better than you know yourself. So that's
Mm.
why I'm like, bring back your inner authority. Like you can have all these different resources and tools and people around you, but when you start to put more weight on the external things than your own internal authority, then we start to have a problem. But I'm like, with how we've been conditioned as a society, we've got a little bit of a authority addiction going on.
See this a lot with clients. This is a
Hmm.
hard one though, because you hire a coach and you want them to give you the answers. And when you try to flip it with, well, what feels good for you? It's like, well, just tell me. Just tell me what I need to do. And it's like, but this has been the problem. And, you
Uh-huh.
know, I know for me, I kind of ride both lines. Like I'm like, what just feels good for you? And this is what I would do, like because
Yeah.
we don't know sometimes, especially at least in the health world, we've been what you think intuitively is not really necessarily it's what you've been like conditioned to think. Actually, that's a good
Hmm.
question. As somebody who has dived into intuition in the last few years and still is working on it, is how do you understand that difference? Because so often people are like, is this anxiety? Is this intuition? Is this what I've been conditioned to think? Like how do you help them understand what's really coming through that's more truly intuition?
Mm, okay. I feel like this is a good question. And I feel like I've had to go through it because I
Yep.
still ask, I'm like, hold on, is this me? Or is this like the message that's wanting to actually come through?
Yep.
And as crazy as it may sound, I'm like, sitting with yourself
Yeah.
is so important because then you can say, with sitting with yourself and gaining that experience with you, you can start to recognize how you actually feel, not necessarily the human, but your own energy.
Hmm. Yeah.
And when you are going about and it's like, oh, I've got this, I don't know, idea. And it's like, oh, well, is that the conditioning or is that my own intuition? And it's like, does it feel constricting or does it feel expansive? And it can feel scary. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But does it feel constricting or expansive? Does it like, ooh, that feels a little bit exciting? Even though it's like, oh my God, then the conditioning might start to come in. It's like, oh my gosh, can I do that? This, that, and the other. But the initial thought, the initial feeling, well, I don't want to even go with the thought. The initial feeling is like, did you say like take a deep breath and like, oh my goodness, you start to light up and your eyes got big and your heart like felt warm and you're just like, oh yes. Your body was like, yes, whatever that means for you. You know your body better than I do. Or was it like, oh, constricting and your shoulders are hunching in and maybe you're starting to get a little bit stressed. Or you're starting to feel down when you were just fine. You're like, okay, let me look at this. But I usually will go with the feeling. I'm like, oh, this feels expansive. This feels exciting. Even though, like, yes, the thoughts can come in like, oh my God, how am I going to do that? Or am I capable? Or
Mm-hmm.
then the mind starts to step in versus that initial like feeling. Go with the feel. What did I feel first?
Mm. That's something I've had to learn to trust is like that initial feeling and not getting my analytical overthinking brain involved.
I understand.
Yep. Because then you start doubting and then you're just like, and then I think sometimes we don't also have to know how it's going to work out. If we know intuitively, like, this is where we're meant to be, we'll figure it out. But, like, for me and many of my clients, and I'm sure you too, it's like we want to figure it out first and
Oh,
get all of the
absolutely.
details first. But then you get trapped in this analysis paralysis and things don't actually move forward. And then you start being like, well, maybe I'm just not cut out for it. Maybe this isn't the right thing. And then you start doubting the intuition, where it's like, you know what I mean? I feel like I see the cycle in many people and myself. And it's hard to break out of that.
I know. It's like, but at the same time, it's like action breeds confidence.
100%. I think that's so often, at least with people I talk to on like, discovery calls, right? They're like, they want to change, but they just keep questioning and questioning and questioning. It's like, but you have to take that next step because the more you start doing the thing over and over again, the more your body trusts you, the mind trusts you, and you see the change externally because of that. But you have to take that step in order to get there. But if you keep getting trapped in um, analytical mode, I call it, where it's like, well, I just need more information. I just need
Yeah.
more research. I just need more of this. It's like, how's that working?
Absolutely. And I want to say for anyone listening that you're like, I have been taking the steps.
Yep.
I I had the thoughts and I'm still taking the steps and I'm not where I want to be. I would invite you to look at the situation like an experiment.
Mm.
And it's like each step that you took, you got to gather some information. You got to see
Hmm.
what worked for you. Maybe the outcome wasn't what you wanted, but like maybe somewhere in the process, you're like, ooh, okay, that particular step, I can apply it somewhere else. I'm like, you're constantly learning, and you might find out as you keep taking the steps, you end up better, somewhere better than what you expected because now you've acquired all this knowledge and experiences and lessons that if you wouldn't have kept going, you wouldn't have realized what gold mine you were actually sitting on.
Mm. So true. And just beware because life can also throw a pivot when that happens, aka bioresonance in my world. you know but yeah, it's true though. It's everybody I know I talk to, it's like they are doing the right thing. They are doing things right, but it's like
Hmm.
miss out on this, like, yeah, really integral part about like being with yourself. It's so simple. I just had this conversation last night with somebody who's a very successful attorney, and she, was constantly on the go, and she's gaining, like, for her, she wants weight loss and she's gaining weight, and I'm like, it's stress is playing a role here. She's like, I don't have time to slow down. It's like, when was the last time you took 5 minutes to just breathe? Never. Truly. And I was like, can we do that? It was so, you could just see the tensing in her body when I
Hmm.
asked her to do that, right? And it's like I've learned that just slow, like, okay, start with 30 seconds and get your body used to
Yep.
it. It's like a bicep curl. Like, you're not gonna have big biceps overnight. You train that muscle over and over and over again. She's like, well, I've done tapping before. It's like, well, did you only do it when you were anxious and you did it 5 times and then suddenly you thought it didn't work? Right? It's like we have to train these muscles over and over again. Same with gratitude. It might feel completely uncomfortable to say, I am grateful for all the things, but over time, that suddenly is your normal, right? And like,
Yep.
you said touching yourself, giving yourself a hug might feel insanely uncomfortable for people, right? And over time,
Mhm.
that's like you start craving it because you just build that habit, you build the muscles, right? That like rewire, your brain and body in the process. So,
Yes, absolutely. It's so
um,
wild.
if you could give some pointers, like let's say one or two of your favorite, besides kind of into, getting in touch with yourself, no pun intended, um, but gratitude. Do you have any other things that people can, tools in your toolbox that have worked really well with clients to help them kind of build that self-trust?
Trying something new,
Mm,
and I know people are gonna be like, I don't want to try anything new.
it's scary for people.
It can be something small,
Hmm.
like, hey, what am I feeling like today? And go do that thing.
Hmm.
And it's like, oh, okay, I wanted to go do this or wanted to try this, and I had an experience. And not to look at it like, oh, am I going to have a great time? But going from the standpoint of what do I get to learn about myself today in this
Mm.
experience?
I'm going to also chime in here because going in with the expectation that you don't have to do this to be good at it or the
Yes.
because I see that a lot where it's like, well, I don't want to try this because I'm not good at it. I'm
Oh
not
my
good.
gosh, yes.
Like,
I'm
and
like with high achieving women, we want to achieve to be the best.
yep,
And if
yep.
we fall short, it's like, oh, I don't want to say that I tried that. Like, sweep that under the rug.
Nobody has to know about this. No, it's so true. I just had a client actually, again, this is funny. I just had a lot of conversations around different things we're kind of weaving in, but she's going to try pole dancing. Sounds
Yes.
like she's like just crazy high stress, high achieving CFO kind of, vibes. Not vibes, she is CFO. But it's like what is just something you can do for fun? And if you aren't the best at it, that's okay. Like what is something that like excites you right now? So the next week I almost died because she was like, I signed up for a pole dancing class. It completely took me aback. I was like, amazing. Like, yes, she's not a dancer. She's like, I mean, she's strong, but she's like, yeah, I feel like that'll be fun.
I think that's actually really beautiful. And people are like, "Oh, I think this will be fun." And they don't realize like sometimes like we'll just go with the pole dancing. Like you're moving your body.
Hmm.
You're moving your energy around. You're pole dancing like
Tapping into your
it could be
feminine.
sensual, you getting in touch with your body, making contact,
Mhm.
getting to know yourself because like you got to swing around the pole.
Oh yeah. And like, she's very in her masculine all the time. So like, I feel like well, this could be a whole nother conversation, but as far as like tapping into your feminine, right? And it's like
Mhm.
that's really important part of healing too. We just don't even know what that feels like. So if you're listening,
Absolutely.
pole dancing class, you can drop in. And she's just doing drop-in classes. So there's an idea. But
Absolutely. Like, I know I'm like, I don't want to go too far into it, but like, yeah, okay, you're usually in your masculine energy. You're usually the doer, showing up, creating structure, logical things. You're in your analytical brain. So, like, what's the opposite of that? Okay, being in my body, like
Mhm.
tapping into that feminine energy. Like, I see it a lot with the women that like I photograph with the boudoir pictures.
Yep.
I'm like, they just want to be. They want to receive. And it's like, okay, well, let's go through a whole experience where we can prime you for that. Like, you don't have to make any sort of decisions. You could just be in the moment and be with yourself and just enjoy.
I think everybody should do a boudoir. I'm sure somebody listening is probably like clenching their butt cheeks right now, but like, I feel like it's a very empowering experience, at least with somebody like you.
Oh, yes. It's
That's
like a
not,
whole day together. It's like 5, 6 hours. Like hair and makeup. I go and pick out outfits for you. And then, we're laughing. I'm taking pictures. We're talking. Like, I don't like to rush people. I'm like, you're my only person for the whole day. And then we get to see your images unedited, and people are like, unedited? What am I gonna look like? I'm like, no, I want you to see what you look like. And they're like, oh my God, you didn't do anything with those? I was like, there's no way I could have done anything with these. I just uploaded them and went through them. It took me 10 minutes. You saw me. Like, like there's no way. They're like, oh my gosh, that's me. And I think that showing the images unedited, they're like scared on one end, but then like if I was to show them just edited, they'd be like, oh, well, that's probably not me. She probably did this and she probably did that. And
yep.
mm-mm, nope, I don't want that.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I bet you get some tears. I'd probably cry.
Oh, yes. Lots of different stories like healing trauma and people with body dysmorphia. And, they're like, oh my goodness, they're like, okay, see where the dysmorphia is trying to come in, but they're like, wow, I've never seen myself this way. Like,
Yeah.
it's a whole beautiful process.
Mm, I love that. That's really powerful. I know something that I tell clients that can be a tool in the toolbox just because I'm thinking about it is like every day look in the mirror and say one thing that you love about yourself and your body. And it's so uncomfortable for people. And you realize, oh my God, I have not talked really nice about myself or my body in a long
Mm,
time. And it's like, it doesn't have to be, I love my stomach, right? That's, where people want to usually hone it. It's like, I love my eyelashes today. They look great. My mascara, I nailed it,
absolutely.
right? I love my smile, right? I love my eye. But it does, and it's like slowly again, you build that habit over time where it becomes less uncomfortable to really look not just at yourself superficially, but, you as a whole, right? Um,
Absolutely. I've met people where they're like, I don't look in the mirror. I
yep,
just do enough to like I look at my hair and then like I don't look at myself. And I'm
yep,
like, whoa, what?
hmm yep. People are like, I jump in the shower and I avoid contact with the mirror when I get there. And I remember one time, this gosh, years ago, where I really understood the importance of this. She goes, Shannon, for the first time, I didn't jump in and ignore myself. I actually stared at myself. And instead of looking away, I really looked at myself. And, I realized just how far I've come. And, I'm not where I want to be yet, right? She had a really complicated health journey, but she was like, but I understood and was grateful for what I've done. And I was like, oh, tearing, right?
Oh,
Like, but it's true. It's just these small moments. matter and seeing
Absolutely.
yourself. You doesn't have to be in a huge shoot, although again, I do think that would be amazing for everybody. But it's like these small moments too. Yeah, they add up. We don't realize. You don't realize. You don't even think about it for 20, 30, 40 years. You just like you're
Mhm.
in autopilot, you know? So when you stop
Absolutely.
that and you're like, wait a minute, I just realized I've never looked at myself in the mirror, or I have never actually sat down and expressed gratitude or just breathed, you know?
Exactly. I tell a lot of people, a lot of my clients, I'm like, breathe, just to remind them. Like I used to have to do it. And then I remember when I took a deep breath on my own without like logically thinking about it, I was like, oh, I did a deep breath. Oh my God.
Dude, I'm the same way. I love the story. I tell it on a lot of podcasts. I hired a mindset coach when I was in my really bad state of burnout. And he told me, probably could have done this a different way, but he's like, I want you to go and meditate for an hour. I was like, I'll give you 5 minutes. Like, don't I go from zero meditation, zero anything to an app. No, no, sir. But I did 5 minutes and it was really uncomfortable. My whole to-do list went really rampant in my brain. And then 10 minutes, I was like, oh, this is perfect because I have 10 minutes to sit and think about all the things I need to do. But I just did it. And then over time now I crave it. I crave the silence. I crave the
Mhm.
stillness. I release through a lot of breath work where my husband's like, you okay? I'm like, yep, just it's just me releasing. you know,
Exactly.
but it's, in case anybody's listening, like I was there too, where I was like, all of this sounded small. It didn't sound like it was going to push me forward, right? I had
Uh-huh.
big expectations, big dreams, big goal. You're going to tell me to sit there and breathe? Okay. But it's the foundation, that we all want to skip. So I'm glad you kind of bring us
Yes.
back to that because it is often overlooked and the most important part, right? It actually is the most important part because that's how we stay alive. But
Exactly.
um,
And like we have these big aspirations and big goals and all of the things, and we don't even realize that our foundation is has cracks in it.
yeah, 100%. Well, if people wanted to connect with you a little bit more, let us know where they can find you. I know you do many things online, but you also do in person. So tell us where people can find you.
On Facebook, you can find me at um, the Perna Collective. You can find my Facebook page, and then on Instagram, you can find me at Shay Perna. That's my handle, and also the pernacollective.com, and you'll be able to find me for photography or intuitive mentoring, energy work. It's going to be amazing. I even have a retreat happening in October. So,
Yay! Congrats. That'll be fun.
oh yes, it's near Savannah. It's going to be gorgeous.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Because you're North Carolina?
Yes, I'm in North Carolina, so it's like five
Yeah.
and a half hours, but
Yeah.
it's going to be awesome. Intuitive work, energy work, photography. I
Mm.
have breath work, yoga, sound healing. It's gonna be amazing.
Ooh. Oh, awesome. Love it. I will put her social media in the show notes below so you guys can find her, connect with her, shoot her a DM if you're curious about what she does. But otherwise, Shay, thank you so much for being here. Listeners, thank you so much for being here. If you found this helpful, would absolutely love it if you commented, subscribed, and or just shared this with somebody that you know could benefit from it. So thank you guys for being here and catch you on the next show. Bye, Shay.
Bye.